Well, a report published today by the tech startup Multiverse suggests that 70% of senior leaders at larger companies do not believe the current higher education system is delivering the skills needed for the workforce. That's despite more than half of those companies requiring that their new employees have degrees. Well, joining me now is Euan Blair. He's the founder and chief executive of Multiverse. Euan, good to see you this morning.
Good to see you.
How much of this is informed, do you think, by the personal experiences of some of these business leaders?
I think that's absolutely a part of it, because many of them have gone to university. That's what they know. But it's so interesting. You know, we speak to business leaders all the time. We've released this big report. The vast majority of business leaders believe the current higher education system is failing to deliver the skills they need. And also they believe people don't need a degree. I think one of the reasons that degrees have remained in the hiring process for many organizations is they just haven't yet made the shift to, well, what do we do instead to ensure we are getting great talent and we can set them up for success? And that's really where apprenticeships come in.
Isn't it a bit hypocritical of some of these business leaders to say this when more than half of them are requiring degrees for entry-level jobs?
So it's absolutely a problem at the moment that degree requirements are still there. However, we are seeing those falling. More and more companies are making announcements that degrees aren't necessary. And so much of it is due to this belief that it's pretty clear that applied learning on the job, is the best way of actually learning. Everyone's going to have to learn and adapt and acquire new skills. We're seeing already what generative AI is doing in the very early stages to the workforce. It will start to have much more profound impact on the labor market. We're absolutely convinced that the future of learning is working. And we use this analogy. You wouldn't teach someone to ride a bike in a classroom. So why do we think that's the best way of equipping our workforce for the skills of the future?
Yeah, now Multiverse obviously helps companies set up training schemes and apprenticeships as an alternative to university. You didn't ask these leaders any leading questions when you were putting this research together, did you?
No, it's funny. It wasn't actually difficult to get this out of them, because the fact is there's no correlation between academics and job performance. Business leaders are seeing this all the time. When they're deciding who to promote or who they develop, they don't go and look at their academic transcripts. They look at, what has this person delivered to my business? How can what evidence do I have they've been successful? They don't care about what someone knows. They care about what they can actually do. So it's pretty common sense when it comes down to it.
Aren't people underestimating the values that university provides? I mean, it's not just about equipping people with skills for the world of work. It's also about teaching them to be an adult and stand on their own 2 feet in some cases.
So that's entirely fair. I think the challenge we would give to that is that doesn't have to require a 3-year academic experience that you're paying hugely for the privilege of. There are many ways in which you can acquire that life experience. And a lot of our apprentices we place who don't have degrees have been working in jobs, but often jobs that aren't really leading to careers. They've got life experience. Lots of them have moved out of home. They've had to make really tough financial decisions. And we spend 14 years teaching people in an exclusively academic environment. So the question is really, is another 3 years of that the only route into the workforce? Or is it actually more sensible for us to say, why not start teaching more people on the job?
Do you get a sense from the business leaders that you talk to that universities are capable of changing their offering and adapting to these changed requirements?
The short answer is no. I think that's simply because universities, as they often tell us, think in decades and centuries rather than months and years. And that can be difficult when you look at how quickly the sort of macroeconomic environment is changing and the needs of the labor market are changing. That said, there will be some universities that will emerge and do this effectively. What we're saying is not that universities shouldn't exist, but it makes absolutely no sense for the primary mode of people's entry into the labor market and jobs to be this purely academic one, because it simply doesn't work. And also it's massively damaging to equity and ensuring that we get as many people as possible from the broadest range of society into opportunities. It's a pretty damning statistic that only 4% of those who claim free school meals actually make it to a Russell Group university. And yet they're the focus for hiring from a number of companies.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me more broadly, Euan, how are you trading right now? I mean, I gather you've sort of started offering more mid-career training of late.
Yeah, we've been focusing a lot. And in fact, one of the fastest growing areas of what we deliver in our apprenticeships is on what I'd call reskilling. So basically taking people in frontline retail work, in fast food jobs, in actually baggage handlers and cargo gate workers for airlines, and retraining them in tech, data, and digital skills, because companies know they've got incredible talent within their workforces, but often that is being completely overlooked because they're not yet in the right function. And so if we can identify people in those frontline roles who are highly at risk from automation and often come from more underrepresented backgrounds, figure out who actually has the propensity to learn these skills, and then deliver them to those skills to those people through the apprenticeship levy. It's an incredibly effective way of unlocking potential within workforces.
And you've just done your first acquisition. You've just bought a business called EduFlow, a Danish business. What was the thinking there? So
EduFlow is an absolutely brilliant learning platform, and increasingly we're trying to deliver very personalized, very dynamic learning experiences to individuals, because each person has different needs. The context in which they're applying their learning across different businesses can range dramatically. And so using a combination of generative AI, but also their learning science, which is incredibly robust, to sort of create pathways for people and allow them to stack learning so that they can become, they can evidence mastery in a particular field and then move into that field. Really essential for us. So it's been a move we're hugely excited about.